class is really, really well. Dental, maybe that first year of red, no reds. Small engines, consistent scores. Plumbing, this year you'll notice that there are some reds, and we need to get these scores to the yellow or to the green. In plumbing, it's important to note that all of the students were proficient or advanced. Although you're seeing a lot of reds overall compared to the other schools in Pennsylvania, the students scored proficient. Baking, no reds.
Can you go back to plumbing?
Yes.
Would you mind, so like definitely in 2021, it looks like you guys did a little bit better, but what do you think seems to be the cause of the learning shortage in those specific areas? Can any of you comment to that?
Once again, compared to their peers towards the state, they scored proficient and advanced. So they did well compared to their peers. But for the upper buck standards, we are not comparing our students, like we're not happy comparing them to their peers. We're creating higher standards and higher benchmarks. So with the exception of this program where there's reds, and we determined that score to be 50, with the exception of this program, next year, we're raising that bar to 60. So anything below a 60 will be a red. And so by creating those internal benchmarks, creating rubrics in our lesson plans and guides, and having a guaranteed viable curriculum, we're able to check in and use those formative assessments. We are going to do, continually to raise our scores and our programs up.
Statewide, though, every one of those kids I thought they were all advanced.
Yes, they were.
Every one of the students that took the test were advanced.
It's hard to hear that and see the red, so just understand that, like, as we're talking about it, I'm looking at the red and.
These are our local benchmarks that we want to keep raising. We're not happy at 50%, we want to raise it to 60%. The following year, we're going to raise it to 65%. I don't believe that, 50% is an accurate benchmark to send our students out into the workforce.
What it seems to me though here, and I guess all the red ones still for 2021 seems to have the same theme. It's all like hands-on pipe stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And is there a reason that, is it the teacher? Is it they haven't gotten to that part of the curriculum completely? Of course, that's not the problem now, but you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, so
we'll continue to concentrate on that.
Yeah.
We can move on.
Could you indicate some kind of drivers that made it go red versus green or yellow?
Sure, we also have access to a lot of the other schools, scores that are in that consortium. And so although you'll see, we've had other schools come to us to say, how are you so advanced in different programs? What we'll do is we'll look in those areas of deficient, and that's where the lesson planning comes into place. And that's the whole purpose of this plan. If we continue to do the same thing the same way with the same different students, we're going to get the same results. So when we meet with the instructor at the beginning of the year, I'll meet with him. We'll come up with individual plans for these areas. And then we'll want to see it in their lesson plans, and we want to see that hit on more, and we want to say, hey, whatever we're doing is not working. And that's the whole intent of being data driven, so we were able to just say, we're not going to accept it. We can't continue to do the same thing, right? We're not going to accept that all our students being advanced, but we want to change things up. It's all for the benefit of the students.
Okay.
And then our OAC comes in, and they'll also advise us, and we can work closely with them to ensure that, they may have different ideas. So we'll look at it from a variety of different lessons until they get into the green. And I hope, and it's not hope with having a good plan like this. When we come back next year, you'll be able to see what did we do differently and get out of those ruts.
Are the decreases and increases related to any specific time of year or specific quarters? Like would there be ebbs and flows at the beginning?
Well, we do a pre-test, and we try to keep the testing cycle at the same time every year.
Okay.
So this is the post-test, and it's typically taken in April and May. And these are the written scores.
Okay.
So commercial baking, electric, mechatronics is up, graphics. Mr. Kohler left, and what a way to leave. You see all, those high greens. Vet assisting, we had some reds early on, especially radiology, and Ms. Stanka did a nice job removing those reds this year. And what's interesting about machining is machining takes NIMS, and those NIMS credentials are graded by industry. If you get 4 NIMS, it's advanced. The problem with the NIMS assessment is you cannot, like with the pre-test, we can determine, hey, we need students to work on these areas for improvement. So we gave him the NOCTI as a pre-test and post-test because we wanted to see growth and improvement. So this is the first year we did machining, and that's our reason and rationale. And those scores are good. There's one area of the grinding, but this is the first year of him taking the test. Because again, this doesn't count in his area. It's the NIMS accreditation. So that's our NOCTI continuous improvement plan. I just want to highlight next year, it's not going to be 50 red. We're moving it up to 60. We're ready to go. The plumbing program, we're going to be working very closely to help remediate, to not only get above that 50, but to that 60 level. And thank you, that's my presentation.
Seeing improvement from the year before to this year, given the circumstances and with COVID and the pandemic, is also great to see too. And I'm sure if we did a comparison, with our kids being back in school that entire time, I'm sure our kids were doing much better than the other schools because it's a hands-on program, right? So it's just really difficult to do in virtual capacity. So, so it really shows how hard our teachers and our kids have worked this year and all of our staff. So.
We're very thankful to the JOC to have that foresight and have us in person from September, and it meant a lot, and we appreciate that. The second part on the program agenda is the exercise sports science. We talked about this at our meeting earlier in the week. In order for us to develop a new program, market and recruit, we're asking for the JOC to endorse us moving forward for program approval, which is a little bit of a lengthy process in order to begin to market and recruit in November, December of this year. I don't know if there's any discussion on this. We presented, I believe, in May.
Is there any way for this physical sciences obviously has a lot of overlap with physical education? Is there any way for those kids to be able to get some of their phys ed credits through that program? Because, obviously that's a lot of physical activity. I mean, it just seems like then it would open the door to them, being able to do other things as well. But I didn't know how that works, if we can give them some credit for that because of the nature of the program.
I'll have to meet with the curriculum directors from the sending school districts. I think some of it may be under the teacher's credential and certification, so that's a good point, and I'll have to get back in touch with you on that to see if they could get either experiential credit by going through the program or how that works.
Right, I mean, with the high level that they're gonna be learning at for that top, for that subject, a lot of what they'd be learning in phys ed would probably be, really beneath what they're learning in that program with what they're concentrating on. So it just seems like in some of it, it would be kind of a little bit redundant and a waste of their time. So I just think that way we can prioritize their time and give them, more opportunities, but.
That's a great point, and if it's okay, I'll report back at the next meeting.
Sure.
What's I noticed it says exercise science and sports technology. Exercise science is PT, physical therapy?
It could be physical therapy, it could be occupational therapy, under those those areas too.
Okay.
Okay, any questions on that?
No, I think it's a great program. I think there's gonna be a lot of interest. I actually think it's gonna be one of the programs that will open and will be, that's my prediction. I should probably knock on wood so I don't jinx it, but I think there's gonna be so much interest in that program because so many kids want to go in that direction, so.
Okay, we'll start the process then for program approval, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Do we have anything on the IT curriculum, or the IT program for 2023, 23?
23,
23, 24?
Whoa.
Yeah, I think so. I didn't remember. I think that was a good program.
Yeah.
Yeah, just trying to do one program next year and then a program the following year.
There's an investment with it.
I think we already bought computers for that program.
Pardon?
Thought we already paid money for computers for
No.
that program.
No,
No, we didn't.
servers for.
No.
I thought we approved a budget for that class. No.
No, we just
All right.
preliminary discussion about it,
All right.
and they wanted to do a sports exercise first.
Okay.
They went to the ID second.
Okay, is it okay if I move to the policy as a whole committee?
Sure.
Great, okay. So for second reading tonight, our policies withdrawal from school, assessment of student progress, which is being deleted, student complaint process, pregnant married students, the awards policy, and dating violence. So all of these went through committee and first reading. Does anyone have any questions or comments or further explanation on any of these policies?
These are pretty well following PSBA recommendations on this.
Yes. In its entirety. Okay, the policies for committee, the first one is going to focus on promotion and retention of our students. And I really like it because it focuses on from positive career goals, objective, students meeting program requirements. It has some safety nets for students that have an IEP that are considered. And some of the language, which was repetitive, that was removed, as you can tell in those notes. So does anyone have any question on our promotion and retention policy? From a practical point of view, we use multiple measures of data. It's not just a letter grade. We take in consideration, which we added, counselor student input. We talked about the task list in terms of percentage. Attendance, if the student is experiencing safety issues, or keeping others from learning as consideration. So that is our promotion and retention, which is listed in drafts. Care of school property. We our PSBA recommended deleting relations with law enforcement, which went from 225 to 801. If you remember from my Act 44 presentation, our relationship is very, very positive. Working with Chief Phelan, we just we wrote a letter of support to the U.S. Department of Justice to look for some grant fundings, and that's us, working closely together with them to keep a safe, supportive school environment for our students. And those are the policies. Does anyone have any questions, concerns, comments on any of those? And if not, then we'll post them for the public at next month's agenda for public input. It'll be included.
And that'll be for the first read.
For first reading.
That's, we're not voting on that this evening? It'll be for next time.
Yeah, this is committee first. It's nice because it gives everyone an opportunity to process it before we post it.
Okay.
Okay. That's my report. I thank you again too for that.
I have some business regarding the policy that we spoke about before the meeting briefly with regards to the recording and publication of our past school board meetings. What policy was that? Please.
I believe that is 8051, Mrs. Graham.
Later on
Okay,
today,
but let me, hold on one second, I'll get
Sure.
that specific one. .903, I'm sorry, public participation in JOC meetings.
all right, let me just look here. So we've had a lot of conversation in the past. When I first became chair or president, the very first thing I did was said I want these meetings to be public. Now we have a policy for this, which I don't see in here anywhere.
You're talking about
You're
electronic?
asking about
Electronic recording devices, cameras.
800.
I'm sorry,
It's the 800 is record retentions.
okay, sorry about that.
Sorry.
You're looking for a policy that.
This meeting needs to be made public after it's done.
Electronic publication.
Yes, and I want the recordings to be available on our website as I've been asking for almost over 3 years. There's finally a policy there that we put in there because I had asked about it 3 years ago. And our meetings still, from the last 3 years that we have been recording, or not quite 3 years, I don't think, are not available yet. Anything from when we started going on Zoom should be available. Actually, we might even have stuff before that. So, Dave, I want that to happen. Help me. Because everybody keeps looking at me, because these people, no one else wants it to happen but me is the feeling I get.
No, I think, I think.
No, I'm not referring to the board.
Okay, yeah, I think we did talk about this last meeting, and I think, we talked about, there was some process moving forward, but I don't recall the detail. What did we say? Because I know there was a plan to start publicizing everything, but I don't know.
Well, I'm done waiting, and later on in this meeting, during general business, I'm gonna make a motion for everything to be public by next week. So if there's anything you guys want to talk about, bring it up now.
And when you say everything, you're talking about the video recordings of prior meetings?
Correct.
Or, okay,
All past meetings.
all right, okay.
That we have recordings for.
Correct.
Right.
Maybe we'll talk to Mr. Linden.
I
and
was
see
gonna
what he's
say,
got on file.
you can.
Of course, we wouldn't, assert the
He probably has up until that point, right? And then we can take it from there?
Right, well, you see, once we went on Zoom, we started recording. He
Right.
wasn't probably able to record unless he had a camera on the screen.
I think we started recording just before Zoom, because I kind of remember the meeting where we thanked him for doing it for all the meetings beforehand and then
Yeah.
started doing it ourselves.
Yeah, that's what I vaguely remember too.
Yeah.
So,
I kind of picture you, I
Zoom.
Okay.
was gonna say, I kind of picture you with your camera during Zoom, right? I kind of picture.
I wasn't here during the Zoom.
No, I mean in Zoom, in your living room or wherever you're watching
Yes.
from, I remember seeing the camera in the back recording it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and you think we actually,
I don't know if we
Have
have
it
it,
in
but
a
I know
policy.
as a Zoom on. And if you have anything
Yeah.
before that, it should be
Okay.
public. It's
Okay.
property of the
All right.
people of our community.
all
Well,
right,
you can
Check that.
download everything I put on YouTube.
Just give you creator credit. I'm just kidding.
Write that down.
Yeah, so,
okay.
all right, is there anything we're gonna need for that to come up later and have the board members
Well, not,
order it?
not that you care, right, I guess, but just so you know, starting next month, we can't do this anymore. We can't add a motion to the agenda
Oh, right.
because they changed the Sunshine Act law effective August 30th. You can do it at this meeting. So you can make a motion saying I want all past, meeting recordings put on the website, that's fine. Going forward, it needs to be on the agenda at least 24 hours in advance unless it's an emergency, which, yeah, but
So which
Yeah, that's not good.
policy is it exactly?
So what, how long does it have to be on a publicized open agenda before the meeting? 24 hours. It's not like 24 hours before, and it's not an emergency, and you can get out of.
Okay, there's two policies that we're looking at. I believe that we're okay with the one that I mentioned. And then there's a retention one and how long they're
One
kept.
concern I have with the policy 800 is the recordings that I use to do my minutes.
Yeah.
It says under the retention AR that after the minutes are approved, the recordings for minutes are
Correct.
gone.
Well, then we should amend that policy.
Or somewhere along the line, we need something that says that they'll be posted
Did
indefinitely
you
on the
want the
webpage.
minutes from your personal microphone posted? I don't think that's necessary. I think that's for your
It's
record.
just for me to do minutes.
Oh, yeah, so
and then
let's
they're
leave
gone.
that alone, because that's your,
She's saying it's in there though, right?
Right, if it doesn't
That's
distinguish
in-
between, if it doesn't distinguish between her little tape recorder and the video, then according to our retention schedule, they're both supposed to get deleted. So we'd have
so we
to,
just have to change the language.
With the
in our
exception of the
policy.
secretary's personal dictated.
right, we just have to separate those two.
Obviously, Penn Ridge and probably Quakertown has such a policy. Palisades does not.
About publishing on our.
Correct.
Yeah, we probably do. I thought we had put it in somewhere like a year and a half ago, but I don't know.
I thought we were just talking about that microphone actually, so I'm confused now.
This.
Yeah, our secretary's microphone.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know, you weren't talking about that. You're talking about the.
The meeting.
The thing that everybody sees.
Yes.
That's getting recorded.
Yeah.
Not her minutes.
Yeah, that is what I'm referring to.
Yeah, I got it.
So our retention policy has a piece for the tape recordings that Mr. Krem does for minutes and approved, then destroyed. Quakertown's policy, which I referenced a year and a half ago, states they would be kept for 3 months. So I think we just need to kind of come up with a, practice or procedure. Kristen from PSBA, when I asked about if and this just goes back, if the meetings need to be recorded, it's not something they address in any of their policy guides that's based on our school practice and procedure. So I think according to that, and unless I'm wrong.
No, there's no legal requirement
Yes.
to have it, but if you would like to have it, you can certainly, you can do exactly what they want to do. There's no bar.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's the point. And I guess it's just kind of coming up with a practice.
Operating procedure,
Yeah.
like within 48 hours or something like that, the meeting being over. That's, gets to enjoy days off and stuff. We don't expect them to do it on his vacation.
And we have to put a disclaimer up there. That anything made in public comment is not the position of the board, et cetera, because the only concern with the video thing is defamation, right? If you republish defamation,
Okay.
but we'll put a disclaimer up on
And
the
there's
website.
also-
There are districts that do
But
it.
but you also can't edit it out either.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what I mean.
So-
That's
so
why I
you're
need the
like,
disclaimer.
No
Right.
matter what.
Right.
We have to disclaimer, that way nobody can sue for defamation.
Against us as
Because
the
you're
publisher.
posting
Right.
the recorded
Right.
video.
Right, so what I'm saying is if you
without
had
any-
defamation,
Right.
it's not like you can just pull it because it's defamation
Right.
either. You have to leave it in, so that's why you need to, it's just,
Because we don't have the same legal protections that Facebook does, right? Like, we are publishers when we put that stuff up, and we can be sued for its content. But
right.
I'm sure that, I don't know if this would be attached to each video or it could just be on our channel
On the
page,
website,
but
yeah,
on the
website would be right on top of the link.
Do we,
It doesn't-
do we have a place where you're gonna put this? We have Google or YouTube or
We do
something?
have a YouTube channel that I can put these on, and I did also reach out to the districts regarding this, and I got a response back from Gary Adams that I just found. So what Palisades does is they put it on YouTube, and then it's made public until the next meeting is posted, and then it's marked as private on their YouTube page.
No.
Because by that time, the minutes are.
That's what I got from Gary Adams over at
No.
We live stream it and then I think within 24 hours, it's usually posted publicly available and there's a whole YouTube thing so you can pull up meetings from long before anyone cares to look at them anymore.
And I think that's the important part though, and I think that's the important thing. I think 3 years from now, people should be able to look back and see what happened.
You do lot comments though, right?
What's that?
You do lot comments though.
Oh, we're gonna block comments?
Oh, yeah.
Are we allowed?
Oh, you should,
Yeah.
because you don't want to be hosting a First Amendment forum on YouTube.
Wait, what do you mean block the comments?
There should be
Comments on the video?
no, right, there should be no ability to comment on the YouTube videos by anyone.
Oh, yeah, there, no.
Okay, I'm okay with all this.
If
But
we
I
are
don't know if we have a
gonna do-
disclaimer like you're talking about, so I have to look
No
at that
written
part.
comments is what you're saying, David.
Yeah.
Written comments
Say the
on the
individual.
YouTube channel
Yeah.
that is associated with
Right,
the
oh, yeah.
video, so
Yeah.
just clarifying.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Would you, David, would you be able to provide me the
Disclaimer.
legalese that I would need to
Sure.
put on the videos, just to,
Yep.
you know, just to make sure we're in the clear for that?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you for discussing that policy issue with me, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. Are we done? Looks like we're done. We're gonna move to an executive session then, is that?
Oh, I thought you meant for the night.
Wishful thinking.
Stuck.
Didn't we have another meeting?
Mhm.
Is there a facilities meeting or something?
No.
No.
Executive session.
Oh, okay.
Are you gonna have executive session now?
Yes.
Yes, but should we go in the other room? Since we have
Well,
guests.
do we have people participating remotely?
Right.
Yes.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
we can bring a laptop.
I can make it.
Yeah.
They have to step out.
We go in office.
But it's live.
Well, no, it's not gonna be live now.
He puts it on pause.
No, my bad.
All right, I'm gonna pause the recording and then we do the breakout rooms. That's what we
Yes.
were doing before.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we need to do something here, Okay, there are enough of us here. Dr. Mr. Quanowitz will be back shortly. We will begin the meeting of the Upper Bucksburg Tech for the August 19 meeting, but they begin with a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we have the roll call, please?
Mr. Hallowell,
I am here.
Ms. Janice Clemens. Here. Mr. Spear,
Here?
Mr. Cormack,
Here.
Mr. Kern. Mr. Misantry,
He was here.
he's here on Zoom.
Are they muted?
Did they come back from the other?
There he is.
There's Ms.
There's Mr. Misantry.
Can we hear him? Mr. Misantry? He's trying to talk, we can't hear him. He gestured that he's here though, I saw it. Mr. Modowitz,
Yes. Here, present. Yes.
Mr. Ott,
Here.
Mr. Rice.
Here.
Only one absent is Mr. Kern. And he's running a few minutes late because he had a committee meeting in Quakertown.
Okay, we'll see Mr. Kern when he gets here.
So before we move forward in the meeting, as everyone here knows, and many people in the public may know, Penrose Hollowell, mostly known as Penny, was one of the founders of the Upper Bucks County Technical School. It was one of the biggest passions. He dedicated his time to a lot of community service in Palisades, in especially this technical school, but in the county, in the state, and even in the country. And, I think it was clear that of all of the things that he dedicated his time to, his biggest passion was founding this technical school. He served on the JOC here for a number of years. I'm still trying to get the exact number of years. One of his biggest passions even here was the ag tech. And so he put a lot into that and, was even resourceful in starting that program and making sure that they had a strong instructor starting it. So he actually just passed away on July 24th, 92 years old. And I wanted to, we all wanted to have a moment of silence at the beginning of this meeting to honor his memory and his dedication to the technical school.
So I want to thank you, and I know that my father would have appreciated this show of appreciation. So, thank you very much.
Before we go any further, is there a way in which we can honor your father with a plaque on one of the walls here in this institution that,
We do have one. His name is
That
on
one?
the wall.
I mean, just again, just to,
Anything's possible. I don't know. I'm sure he didn't expect anything, but
well, someone that's put that much time and energy and effort into seeing the success of this institution grow in the
So-
community.
There's actually something in the works that we weren't going to mention tonight, if you read your email.
I was
But,
not copied on that.
You were not, so, but we are working on something.
Okay, good.
Well, thank you.
Do you want me to?
Hey, maybe we can dedicate our sign out front to him.
Do you want to address
two
the
additional.
motion changes?
Yes, so just a couple of quick things before we open up for public comment. Item L, there was an item under item L that was removed, and it has since been replaced with a new.
Item L was one of the items on the personnel page.
Consent calendar 7D, the personnel recommendations, item L.
And it's a motion to authorize contribution of 22 and a half vacation time into the executive director's 403B account.
And this is just a change from an old contract to a new contract in the procedure of where that money goes because of the transition from last year's contract to this year's contract. So that item has been added and replaced. And then Mr. Akmanowitz intends to make a motion tonight about making sure that all of the recorded meetings that we have access to get posted in the next week. So that's a motion that he intends to add to the agenda. And I also plan to add a motion to the agenda about contracting with the IU. I know Mr. Sueda has already been working on this, a contract with them. They're coming in and doing team building within the administration and between the administration and the rest of the staff, and also evaluating the administrative job descriptions and responsibilities and making recommendations. So that's another motion that will be added onto the agenda. So just wanted to announce all of those things, comments, so that way anyone can comment.
Okay, that being said, are there any public comments on agenda items which include the ones that Director Dennis Clemens has just expressed?
Can I comment about math?
Yes?
My name is Julie Wallace. I am a resident of Hilltown Township. I have 3 children, Christian Academy, but we're obviously, I think everybody knows, the health department just released, some new guidance, and I'm not sure where everybody kind of stands with that, but I just like to have a little bit of a more nuanced conversation that I don't see happening. All you really hear is like, masks work, masks don't work. They are both correct. We have good options for masks, and N95s absolutely confer a relative risk reduction to the wearer. An appropriately fitting, double-layered cloth mask confer an absolute relative risk reduction that is more than 0. It is not 100%. Masks that are single layer, ill-fitting, that are on the floor of a car, their effectiveness is 0. So both of those are correct. What I'm saying is there are options. There are options for parents. There are options for children that actually do work. And if a parent or a child, if they're going to choose to wear a single layer, ill-fitting mask, they should just wear nothing. Because we're really not doing anything. So I think that we need to have like that nuanced conversation about what is actually going to be effective for our students. I think that masks should be optional. I think there are good options. for those that want to wear masks and for those that feel that it's unnecessary. Putting a single layer cloth mask on their child is completely and you just not have anything at all. Sorry. Well, have made mask optional for their districts, and I hope to see that continue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else on agenda items? Yes, sir.
Robert Linden, in response, since it's supposed to be agenda items, I thought, but
It actually is an agenda item.
the CDC has a recommendation for masks. Has anyone read that? So if there's a standard for masks, you should start there.
Anyone else for public comments on agenda items?
Do we have any participating
Nothing,
See any hands raised?
remotely?
no remote comments? I don't see any.
If you have a comment, you can unmute and start speaking because we don't see, or enter something in the chat, but.
Anybody see anything? Okay, we're gonna move on then. We have announcement of an executive session that was held prior to this meeting dealing with personnel and
It was all person.
personnel. Okay? Next we'll move into the administrative reports. Mr. Sweeten.
Thank you. Start off, we have 2 donations. Harbor Freight Tools donated cash donation to purchase tools and incentives for our students of $200 for a small engine program. And Northampton Community College donated 2013 Chevrolet Malibu sedan, estimated value of $8,995 to the automotive technology program. So we continue to, thank our partners out there in our community, helping our students, bringing material for our students to work on, which is very, very appreciative. Next on the agenda, Upper Bucks County Technical School was a best practice for career and learning that works in Pennsylvania with our collaborating partnership with the local workforce development board to create improved workforce and economic conditions. So they did They did a little story on our workforce development partnerships with Upper Bucks County Technical School and all of our programs. And we are in their best practice published statewide career and tech ed publication from the June 18, 2021 Business Community Workforce Engagement. So, again, working with Mrs. Reese and our our teachers and all of our programs, we continue to just keep moving forward. And lastly, we had a instructor that spent the last 4 weeks, I believe, George. I think George may be on the Zoom there. George Dietrich, our Ag Tech and Life Science instructor at Upper Bucks. He attended 2 Case for Learning Institutes this summer, Plant Science at Arkansas State and Animal and Plant Biotechnology at Penn State, and allows the opportunity for our students to earn credits while still in high school. So we started that program 2 years ago. I'm happy to report that it is at full capacity today. Both AM and PM. Our students will be graduating from there. They started in 9th grade with 12 college credits. So again, we just keep moving forward, and I want to congratulate George on his hard work that he put in this summer to make sure that his students are getting the best that they can possibly receive.
Any questions?
That's what I have.
Sounds like we're moving ahead. That takes care of the administrative reports. we have some subcommittee reports. Facilities did not meet. Finance did not meet. Policy subcommittee,
We reviewed our NACI continuous improvement plan at tonight's meeting using 3 years' worth of historical data. Our students and teachers did an amazing job. We showed that there was growth during the pandemic, and we thank the JOC for their efforts in allowing us to meet in person during the school year, which was very helpful. The second topic was the board would like us to move forward for program approval for sports science, exercise science and sports, which we will begin to do, especially for the timing to be able to market that for the upcoming school year.
So that was programs, so we'll reverse it and then do policy
Okay,
next.
thank you.
But good job on the programs.
Okay. I said, you did. I put the order. My fault. I apologize.
That's okay.
The policies for tonight's second reading, we reviewed policies 208, withdrawal from school. We're deleting policy 213, policies 219, 234, 240, and 252. These already went through committee and first reading. They're on tonight's agenda with public input. And in committee, we reviewed policies 215, 224, the deletion of 225, and policy 805.1. And that's my report for policies as a whole committee.
okay, and the policies that are on the agenda for this evening, this is the second read for them, that will put them in effect?
Yes.
Okay. Anything to add, question? Anybody on the board? Okay. That takes care of the committee reports. The consent calendars, first item on the consent agenda calendar would be approval of the June minutes, approval of the June and July financial reports, approval of July and August bills payable, and personnel recommendations. Do I have a motion?
I'll second it.
Dave Akmanowitz would take Reese.
Okay,
Would you,
Bryce.
would you be willing to modify the motion to vote on everything under the consent calendar, except for the personnel recommendation item F? So we can vote on that one separately?
which is our.
That is the revised job description.
So it's attachment D, personnel
Of the job
recommendations.
description.
Item F. Is there any objection to severing that?
You too?
That's fine.
Okay, so the consent,
Don't we need to do this for the Act 90 whatever? So it kind of has to be done like today, before the deadline. They're not, basically it was explained to us that we could change it again later, but right now these need to be updated so that we can get our grant.
Well, we can update them.
If I may, just
we're
procedurally,
gonna vote on it separately.
let's talk about the job descriptions afterwards. She's asking to just have a separate vote on that one. Let's vote on the rest of the consent calendar.
Sure, I'm sorry.
And then move that.
Sorry.
And then we'll,
Okay, that's what we're doing. So we understand that we're voting on the consent calendar with the exception of item F,
DF?
whatever it is. Any further discussion on those items? Seeing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Anybody? Okay, that passes. And next, I will need a motion to approve the omitted item F, which is the job descriptions.
Megan, would you like to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion to table item F.
Second.
okay,
And the
All right,
reason,
now, wait,
hold on.
we first need the motion on the floor before we can take
Yeah,
it.
she already made one, so now we gotta vote on it. And he seconded it.
That's fine. And it's a non-speaking motion. So the motion on the table is the motion on the floor is to table item DF. And
There's
technically,
no
it's a
discussion on
non-speaking,
that.
yeah.
We have a second on that, right?
yes,
Okay, it's been moved and second to table, I assume indefinitely.
So let's clarify.
Well,
She didn't say.
Okay, I will amend my motion to table it until we receive the recommendation from the IU and can modify and include that recommendation in the modified job descriptions to approve them then.
so it's
You okay with that?
Yes.
It's a motion to postpone to the regular business meeting following the receipt of the IU recommendation or IU review of job descriptions
Yes.
And recommendations.
and recommendations.
Okay, everybody understand the motion?
Yes, but I have questions about the ramifications of such a vote.
Okay.
Does that mean we don't get the grants?
No, we get the grant, but we don't have anywhere to spend it.
No, the grant has nothing to do with us at all.
For the Act 9, all of the job descriptions that are on there right now are all positions that were put into the Act 93 agreement, which was voted on and approved back in June.
I thought we needed these job descriptions approved to get the grant, was my understanding from earlier.
No, that was a different job that we're not gonna go about.
Okay, that was 11. Forgive me, no.
But these are the job descriptions of the,
Of the current individuals that are
Thank you.
employed now.
I'm totally on board now, we're good.
These are the updated job descriptions.
okay, any further questions? Okay, we'll move to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. I'm a nay.
I'm a nay.
That's 2. And motion passes 7-2. Okay,
Could I then make the additional motion to contract with the Bucks County Intermediate Unit, specifically with Mark Hoffman, to come in and evaluate our administrative jobs and duties and bring us a recommendation of what the number of administrative positions we should have and where those job responsibilities should fall, as well as doing relationship building and climate building with.
can you shorten that down?
I'm sorry, I should have.
Maybe the most unwieldy-
Shorter my time before I started saying.
I almost think the area should have a program, like, enforced, that does the thing.
Okay, I'll start.
Specifically call Mark Hoffman too, because isn't that ultimately?
Yeah, we already talked to Mark a while ago about this.
Okay.
May
Do
I?
you want to,
May I
try?
propose
You take a shot.
a motion to contract with the intermediate unit for a administrative job description, review, and recommendation.
That was short.
And,
But, okay, go ahead. Tell me if there's an and, because you can talk about it all you want.
yeah,
Just
and
motion once.
the team building within the administration, as well as between the administration and the rest of the staff. Three
Team
components.
building, I think is enough.
Sure, but we've been trying to get them off for 3 years, so.
Okay, do we have a second to her motion, add this to personnel?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's moved second.
Discussion.
Do we have more discussion on this? Realizing.
What's your expected outcome?
She didn't put any timeline on it, so that's.
Can I modify my
Can
I modify?
I should have kept quiet.
I'll modify my motion.
Too late.
It's another motion after we vote on this, so hold on.
Oh
This
my
is the
God.
last time we can do this, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
You gotta get them in now.
Pending a cost review?
No, we will have to vote on the actual contract.
Yes, we will. Okay, well, enough discussion?
Question.
More
And
discussion.
there's certainly not enough in this to go out for bid. I mean, I don't know, we don't have to, but
No,
With-
service.
like, what's the expected outcome? What's he coming in here for other than just to make money?
The expectation is to evaluate the current job responsibilities of the administration and give recommendations about whether or not those are balanced in the places that they're supposed to be, if we have the right number of administrators for the facility.
I get it, so that needs to all be in a freaking document, I mean, just.
Well, right, we're
This doesn't seem
contracting.
like on a whim kind of a thing.
but it isn't, because we've been asking for it, as Dave pointed out, for 3 years, so,
Okay,
but Mr.
there was-
Smita has
there wasn't
already
right- there
initiated the
wasn't
process
right-
on 2 of these, pieces. So there are discussions, but we just want a motion so that we make sure that that happens, but the contract itself that you're talking about, or the specific language, we will then have to vote on that actual contract.
So actually, the motion should be a motion to solicit a proposal.
Okay.
That sounds better.
And because you're correct, the proposal will have to be approved by the JS.
Yes.
You all right, Dave?
Can we solicit the
Second
approval
Dave.
then for, before next meeting, to vote on next meeting? Can we say that?
Senior.
Megan, I will make you my assurance that we'll keep this one that you're saying. I don't want to.
Okay, do we all, are we okay, Tracy?
You got all that?
Our official recorder of,
Well, luckily it's recorded, you can always play it back.
any further discussion?
For word.
Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And this is 9-0. All right, that took care of the consent calendar. Next item is a motion, we need a motion to approve the revised policies 208, 213, which is a delete, 219, 234, 240, and 252 as distributed in June and recommended by the policy subcommittee.
I'll make it.
First day,
I'll second it.
and Mr. Rock. It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Approval of this motion will make these policies in force. Discussion? Questions? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Say nay. I hear none. Motion passes 9-0. Item 9, a motion is in order to approve the proposed cafeteria prices affecting the beginning of the 21-22 school year.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Come on,
What
what's right?
dates, huh? Is that what we got there?
Yep. Dave.
Okay. Questions, comments on these?
Did these bright, they don't look like any of them really changed at all. I don't see any of the line items, no. Okay.
Okay, anybody have any questions, comments? I'll just say that we're keeping the prices the same.
Yep.
And that being said, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 9-0. Next item. Item 10. We need a motion to approve Dr. Kevin Reinhold of Tri-Valley Primary Care in Quakertown, PA, to be the UBCTS school physician at a rate of $350 for the 21-22 school year. Need a motion?
So that's the entire cost. for the
That's
whole
it.
year, Not a per hour. That's mighty generous.
I wonder if it's a deduction.
So we have a motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Kern?
If you, is that a motion?
Yes.
Yeah.
You got it, okay.
John Kern with motion.
Got it? Questions or comments?
Sounds like a generous,
Sounds like a good deal to me, too.
yeah. I just thought it was a typo on the.
Okay, hearing no further questions or comments, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries 9-0. Item 11. We need a motion to approve the proposed baking, cosmetology clinic, dental clinic, and animal technology fee schedules for the 21-22 school year.
So moved.
I'll second.
Ms. Cummins and Mr. Spears? I don't have any comment. Anybody else?
These prices did change a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously up a little bit.
Yeah. That's expected.
It's still
Still very cheap.
very reasonable. Any questions? Seeing none? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Item 12. We need a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the Upper Bucks County Technical School and the Bureau of Career and Technical Education for participation in the BCTE Technical Assistance Program. You can pick.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Rochester. Yeah. I'm sorry, you know. Any comments or questions on this?
What is this?
So the technical assistant program, we've been involved with TAP here at Upper Bucks for the past 3 or 4 years. They come in and they'll do observations of our programs. And what they are retired, all retired directors. And they'll come in and they'll give us a hand on all aspects of anything that we would need for their assistance. And we also have training that we are allowed to go to, or we can attend. Our counselors, special ed teachers, our administration. So it's a really big help to have somebody to lean on that knows everything about career and tech ed as well as us. So it's a good service to have. It's beneficial for everyone.
Any further comments, questions?
Sounds cool.
Okay, we'll move to vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. That motion carries 9-0. Item 13, participation in cooperative bids. We need a motion to approve participation in cooperative bids listed for the period July 1, 2021, 2022, and you guys can read the list.
I'll make a
So
motion.
Mr.
Double
Ross
Dave.
for first and Mr. Ahmad is all second.
Okay. Anything to add? Tracy's not here. Tracy's here. Teresa's not here.
Well, these are these are all of our bids for our cooperative education. So that, basically we have a couple of new people on there, but it's just routine
Those are the
personnel.
same people from last year.
Yeah.
And these are the providers that we can use to purchase stuff from without going through the expensive bid process.
Mhm.
Okay? Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 9-0. Item 14, our motion is in order to approve the designation of equipment listed as obsolete and approval for its sale, disposal. So we need that motion.
So moved, Mr. Ahmad.
I'll second.
Mr. Reese. I don't have the list in front of me.
Right there, it's a sanitary safe S3410 warmer and a warmer. The safe
Oh, it's safe.
is a small safe and the little pins are all, 2 of them are broken, the other one's bent. They're useless. And a warmer that I wouldn't want to plug in and stand next to it.
On the wet floor.
Unless it's somebody you don't
Have
have.
that.
Okay. Any questions or comments on these items for sale?
I was gonna guess it was a pantry safe, but now you said, I knew it was some typo there, but yeah.
I figured it was like a brand name of like something they use in like one of the labs, actually.
Okay. Any constructive questions? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. That motion passed 9-0. Item 15.
Pass.
A motion is in order to approve the designation, a motion to approve the 21-22 revised UBCTS Health and Safety Plan. We need a motion
So moved.
and a
Mr.
second.
Ahmad.
Second,
Mr. Kern.
discussion.
Okay, who's going to
Could
take
have just not
this?
seconded it, but.
So the administration,
Kern? Yeah, you seconded it? Yeah.
so the revisions would be in sections 3A, 3C, and 3D. If Dennis can bring it up on the screen. So there's 3A universal and correct wearing of masks. Our first, if you go back up to the top, board approved the original, well, this is the second health and safety plan, June 17th. The board approved it on June 17th with a 9-0 vote. The date of the plan took effect July 1st, which that was a optional masking when the governor dropped the mandate. The revision would be August 19th, the recommendation of the administration, amendment of the Upper Bucks County Technical School classrooms and work locations. Masks are required for all individuals in all indoor Upper Bucks County Technical classrooms and work locations at the current time, and subject to regular ongoing review for the following reasons. October 17th of 21, the Bucks County Health Department issued an updated guidance on masking, CDC guidance on masking in schools at the current time and subject to regular ongoing review. Per the Bucks County Health Department on August 17, 2021, Bucks County is now considered to be an area of high transmission specific to COVID-19. Federal and state health authorities recommend that the Upper Bucks County Technical School implement a mask required policy at the current time to align with the CDC guidelines for schools. Per the Bucks County Health Department's guidance issued August 15th, the Bucks County Health Department supports enhanced targeted temporary mitigation efforts in clinical and healthcare-like school settings. The correct wearing of masks includes covering for both the nose and the mouth, and masks are not required outdoors and remain optional. So the recommendation, the Upper Bucks County Technical School has followed the recommendation of the Bucks Health Department since March 13th of 2020. We followed the recommendation through the whole pandemic. We are a career and tech ed school, so all of our programs are considered essential. I have students working out there right now that are wearing masks at their workstations. I feel as though, we followed his recommendation for the entire year, and because of his recommendations, we were the only Bucks County Technical School open 5 days a week. Face to face, we missed 2 days of school, one snow day, one bomb threat. And it was because of listening to the health department and professionals. We're trying to teach our kids the best possible action and up-to-date and live work as we can. If you walk around and you go out there now into the communities, you walk into Walmart, walk into Target, Lowe's, Home Depot, any restaurants, all the employees are masked. When we open up our restaurant, our students are going to be masked. When we open up our cosmetology, our students are going to be masked. When we open up our dental, our students are going to be masked. Our healthcare students have to be masked, and our baking students will be masked. So our recommendation is to have masks on everyone that is in the building during school time and no mask outside. And we still are going to continue with all the protocols we had set in place back in 2020 with mask breaks. We're going to have sprayers, which I'm going to talk about next, but we're going to continue to follow what we followed through the pandemic. I want to be open 5 days a week. I'd rather be safe and have our school continue to move forward as it did for the 2021 school year. The second recommendation would be section 3C. And 3C, I'm adding the video monitors will be used to inform students. So last year we received a grant and we put monitors throughout the whole school, and that'll continue to register and show, hand washing techniques, which is required by the grant itself. And then the last one would be 3D. We are going to initiate continued deep cleaning 2 days a week with the possibility of increasing depending on the Bucks County Health Department data. We started that last year. We started 2 days a week, which means they come in after my custodians get done doing their cleaning, and they'll come in around 11 o'clock and they'll spray all high touch points, all desks throughout the whole school. So they're gonna be coming in Tuesdays and Thursdays. And if there is any type of uptick come around the holiday like it did last year, we bring them in 5 days a week. And then right before the holiday, we bring them in, and then right after the holiday, we bring them in 5 days, then we take it down to 3 days, and we take it back down to 2 days. I believe that that added protection really helped us, as well as following what the Bucks County Health Department has, recommended. So those are the 3 additions for the new health and safety.
We increased our enrollment this year from last year, didn't we, few students, if he doesn't?
We increased enrollment, as of today, there's 830 students enrolled.
How many
Last year, we had 720, about 50 students didn't come to school. But the enrollment right now has increased tremendously.
I just want to point out, that's almost 8% or 7% shift in enrollment. And we had a good amount of space before. We'll probably still have a good amount of space now, but it's going to be less social distancing than we had the ability to do last year. So, I just kind of want to encourage the mask wearing for the time being. Again, just like many of the school boards here in Quakertown, we're going to be addressing this meeting after meeting after meeting and taking it, one step at a time. But I do want to point out an encouragement of masks as it's put out here. I do want to remind everybody, we still have a few more kids in each of the classrooms than we did last year.
I like your idea about, sort of, if you have to do some of that safety thing because you're serving or working closely, with cosmetology or something like that, that's certainly respectful. I would promote parents still choose, not us, in terms of if their kids don't want a mask, except for the conditions that you were talking about, where if you're actually treating a patient or you have a client in the chair for, like that, I think makes sense because that's close anyway, and it helps the kid. Like I would encourage the kids to wear it. But as far as overall, I want to put the freedom back into the parents' hands to make decisions. And there's really no scientific evidence about cleaning stuff. To me, it's
John, man, you're a rocket scientist or something, aren't you?
Aerospace. Rockets bring their oxygen with them. I'm an air breathing propulsion guy. But no, actually, there is no scientific data around the. They didn't know in the beginning, so they said clean surfaces, but that's really not. And if you want to look up, there's no data that says masks works either, but I won't go there. But they don't. The aerosols that the COVID it's like buckshot through a chain link fence for most masks, unless someone's wearing the legit like respirator type thing. But the ones that most kids come in with, they just make you feel good. They catch big droplets, but they don't actually stop the aerosols, which actually is how COVID spreads. It's truly the virion is so small; those masks are pointless. But anyway, that's my take. Is I think parents should still decide, and it's okay what you talk about with the, keeping the people who actually have workstations and restaurants and things like that. That's okay.
Well, as one rocket scientist to another, I agree.
It is really a coincidence. So
That was Mr. Kern and Mr. Ott. Any further questions, comments?
I would just like to point out that while masks are currently optional, we don't have a single employee in this room wearing a mask, and I don't want to take that choice away from those employees.
Anybody else?
One other
Jeff,
thing.
is this the health and safety plan that you're recommending that we pass?
Yes.
Thank you.
One other thing, the recommendation that did change from the Bucks County Health Department did not say that it was changed based on medical reasons. It said that it changed based on a fear from the hospitals that if we don't mask kids, that their hospitals will get overloaded. And I understand that the health department has to make decisions based on the relationships and the people that they work with and what's going on in the county. But as far as the decisions that I'm making for education, I'm not going to make a decision in a school district that is contingent upon hospitals' fear of overloading their facilities.
So is what you're saying is if they had more space, you'd feel differently? I don't understand.
What I'm saying is that's not a reason to play into my decision-making process. And for me, I think that I don't think that any of us can say that we know all and we have the right answers and we should tell everybody else what to do. I think that people should have the right to make the choice that's best for them in their own
Well, so
situation.
professionals,
I'm sorry?
their specialty is different, you know, the human being who makes good decisions. You consult all the valid data and professionals and, in the thing, whatever it is you're researching. And those people generally know what's going on, like the CDC and the Bucks County Health Department. It's the business.
We had a doctor and a nurse at Palisades stand up last night against the mask mandate. So when you say it's like physicians or doctors, there's no clear consensus among them either. So just because the guy who is part of Bucks County Department of Health says, I think we should do it, isn't the end all be all.
I respect the fact that, look, the administration's job is to bring all the recommendations to us. That's what they did. They did their job. They brought us the recommendations, and we have to make decisions based on, what we think is the right thing to do. And I think that I respect the fact that we have different opinions on what the right thing to do is, but I think that we all are trying to do what we think is the best thing for kids.
And to your point, Dave and Dr. Ott, Dr. Damsker did note that his office will support any district's choice, or in this case, school's choice in what they do. So we will still have that expert guidance moving us forward, whether we vote mask on or mask optional, through his office and his targeted mitigation processes. So
Can I ask,
we will still have that expert advice to rely on.
I mean, how are they gonna help us if stuff starts to run away? They're not doing any tracing anymore.
They're doing targeted mitigation. They are still tracking all county numbers. We're just not sharing them with the district they're not
They're not
pre-sharing
doing
them.
contact tracing.
Yeah,
But they are documenting and keeping numbers as far as all of the cases. It's just that they're not saying, who all have you been in contact with in the last 5 days, and let's contact them. And I believe that's because it didn't, looking at the data, and I don't want to speak for anyone else, but just looking at the data over the last year, the contact tracing hasn't shown to be any benefit to prevent the transmission, and I think that was the basis, but.
and the county did say they will work with the nurses in the school to evaluate the data within the school. So if say Quakertown starts getting a lot of positives, recorded positives or noted positives inside of the schools, Dr. Damsker's office will work with the nursing staff of those schools, and I believe this one as well, to further mitigate if it's needed in a classroom.
So why would we want to go and get to that point when we can just prevent it from?
Well, that was the whole point right before this,
But you
and
don't
the
know.
only change was because of
yeah,
So you're careful.
possible preventative hospital overcrowding.
can I ask you how long a student usually spends in the school here in a given day?
2 hours.
Yeah, I heard it was small.
So
So that's even, so the bulk of their time isn't here. The bulk of their time is out and about, possibly in their home school.
Well, they spend half a day in their home school, so they come in here at say 8:30, the last bus arrives, and they go to lunch at 11, so 2.5 hours. 30 minutes of class time, and most of the rest of the time is out in the lab, shop areas, open up labs. It's just, I'm just following what I've followed from day one, and
Yeah, so am I, and it was not something else.
I was gonna say, I think we can debate, I think we can debate this all night, but we have different opinions.
I'd really like
Maybe we should go to vote.
encourage everybody to pass this as is for the time being, despite the way you feel. And as we've said, 4 weeks or 6 weeks in, let's make sure everything is going each team. And then maybe we can go to voluntary masks and start weaning it off, like use one. And you know what? If everything looks good, you've seen me vote both ways. But right now, I think we need to be diligent for our students.
So what
I
looks
think this
bad?
is the right decision for us to make.
What looks bad right now, and what would it look like to say, what would be the drop-off point that says, all right, optional? Like, do you have a sense of what numbers you would see, or?
Well, we don't have anything to really set it to. I mean, if we're transmitting at 0, maybe that would be a really, we don't have any inside the school at all over 4 weeks. Well, that's a really good sign that what we're doing is working.
No, it's not.
And okay,
It's not proof.
you just asked me something and I told you. So,
Well, no,
yeah.
you correlate it with what we're doing.
Okay, let's not get one here if we can. I think we know each other's positions. Are we ready to vote?
Can we clarify that a yes vote passes the health and safety plan with the,
With the revisions.
You got it.
Yes, so a yes vote adopts the health and safety plan with the revisions, a no vote either reverts the plan back to what it was before revisions, or we could amend to put, or motion to put new revisions in.
Well, that would naturally be what would happen.
Everybody understands that? A
I'm
yes
just
vote?
making it clear before everybody casts their vote.
Okay,
Can you do this as a roll call vote? So there is a
we
clear record.
certainly can if that's what you wish.
In case folks are running for reelection.
All right, come on. We got 10 minutes. My self-imposed time is running out.
Well,
Go ahead.
because if you say no, does that mean I'm gonna take 3C and 3D out?
We'll evaluate that.
Would mean we still don't have the health and safety.
It has to be voted on or voted down as a whole at this point in time.
Yep.
'Cause that's the motion.
So this, all right, we're ready to vote? Let's have a roll call vote, please, Ms. Cran.
Mr. Hallowell,
I'm a yes.
Ms. Janice Clemens? No. Mr. Spear,
No,
Mr. Cormack,
Yes.
Mr. Kern,
No,
Mr. Musantri,
No.
Mr. Kmadowitz,
Yes.
Mr. Ott,
No.
Mr. Rice,
I'm a no.
3 yes, is that it? 3 yes.
3. 3 yes.
Motion fails by 3 to 6.
could I make a motion to add back in line, I just clicked off of it here. Jeff, maybe you could help me with those
3C, 3D.
3C and 3D. They're the cleaning protocols and the
hand washing.
hand washing monitors.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Does everybody understand the motion?
To continue.
So basically, mask optional.
So wait,
Mask
encourage hand
optional.
washing,
Continue cleaning.
and
so the yes vote
use Clorox all over the
keeps,
place.
the yes vote keeps masks optional, will be the deep cleaning and the improved accelerated schedule and hand washing. Okay? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
We did a roll call, the last one, but not this
Okay, do you want a roll call vote?
one. Please.
Okay. You made the motion?
Yes.
Second it.
Did you second it? Mr. Rod seconded it, that's right, okay. So we'll have a roll call on this motion also?
Making your work tonight.
I am still a yes.
Ms. Janice Clemens? Yes. Mr. Spear,
Yes.
Mr. Cormack,
Yes.
Mr. Kern,
Yes,
Mr. Musantri,
Yes.
Mr. Akmanowitz,
No.
Mr. Ott,
Yes.
Mr. Rice.
Yes.
8.
8.
Okay, the motion passes 8-0.
8-1.
8-1, I'm sorry. 8-1. That takes care of the published agenda. Nothing further?
Mr. Armanowitz, did you want to make another motion?
No, well, no, I was gonna make my motion later on in the JOC concern section if that was appropriate.
Yep,
Okay. All right, at this point then, is there any further recognition or comments from the audience?
This is Josh Hogan. I'd like to make a comment.
Yes, sir.
Josh Howard.
All right, can you guys hear me okay?
Can you give us your district of residence, please?
Yep, I am in Penridge.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I wanted to hop on and give this comment at the start. Missed that boat, but glad that you guys wound up shooting this down, the mask situation, because something I think you guys need to know and take this back to your districts, and this is really relevant to Palisades, who just voted on this last night, is you guys are operating on incorrect data. In fact, the line that is being added here, which references the Bucks County Health Department's position, which was going to be included tonight, unfortunately, you guys shut it down. I believe it to be actually illegal in that it misrepresents the Bucks County Health Department's position. And I don't blame you guys. I don't blame the administration for putting that line in. I mean, everybody thought this on Tuesday when the press release dropped. I certainly did. I actually, totally jumped off the Dr. Damsker bandwagon, kind of threw him under the bus because I didn't understand exactly what happened. Everybody's running around saying Bucks County Health Department recommends that schools mask. That never happened. So this line you've got in here saying that on August 17th, 2021, the Bucks County Health Department issued updated guidance on masking to follow CDC guidance on masking in schools at the current time and subject to regular ongoing review. That's a lie. Bucks County Health Department did not do that. I'm going to pull up the press release right now and read real quickly the statement in whole that is attributed to Dr. Damsker. When you actually go through it, the only part about a recommendation at all is he says, quote, because of this, hospitals in Bucks County have recommended that schools begin the fall semester with a mask requirement. As a result of this new information provided by our partner hospitals, we support their recommendation to follow CDC guidance. The only people right now in this whole little game we're playing who actually have a legit recommendation to mask kids in school are the hospital executives who made that recommendation to Dr. Damsker, and he is saying, I support them. That is the only thing on paper in any sort of release that's actually coming from the health department. Everything else is either from, PR like Larry King representing the county or the various news outlets or you guys, me, like we all got it wrong because we misread it. I understand that this language was intentional. As of right now, the Bucks County Health Department has not changed their guidance from the initial FAQ they put out on Sunday, which said masks should be optional going into school. So I just wanted to clear that up. And hopefully that's information that the rest of you guys can use when you go back to your board. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else? There's nothing in the chat room that we can see.
There was just a question about who was speaking, and it was Jennifer. who
Yeah,
was
I thought I
speaking.
answered that.
You did, yeah. And I don't see any hands.
I don't see any other public comment.
There are no new questions.
Okay, we're good. We'll move on then into announcements. The only thing I have that I see here is the next regular JOC board meeting is scheduled for September 16th here in the same format, except, yes, in the same format we have right now, okay? No other announcements? Okay, we'll move into JOC concerns. Who's first? Mr.
I'd like to make a
Arconowitz.
motion, kind of jotted down some notes. I'd like to make a motion to require the JOC public and JOC subcommittee meetings that have been recorded and continue to be recorded by this institution within 24 hours at the end of the recording to be published for public benefit using a public outlet like YouTube or off our school server. It should be available in perpetuity. This motion would amend our current bylaws to clarify that the Secretary of State recorder are exempt from public publication. These are intended for her personal notes. And I'd like to have all of our existing video published within the next 14 business days from today.
I'll
We heard the
second.
motion, we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Spear?
And I did have a question then for Mr. Nolan.
ahead.
Is that 14-day window adequate time?
I already asked them. I originally gave him 7. I talked to him and I told him I'd give him 14.
Would you,
the only thing that I'm fine with all of it except the in perpetuity, because at some point,
Oh,
the
yeah,
content is going to
To the best of our
exceed what
ability.
we can, so,
You know.
until,
How about just indefinitely?
Thank you.
Is that all right?
Okay.
Indefinitely.
Wouldn't there be a statute of limitations, like who cares after a certain point?
well,
Sure.
that's my point, like, we won't be able to keep it all forever,
That seems
so
to fall.
Although,
Well, you could.
within our storage capacity, I don't know. I
It's
just-
not that you could, because you could, but should you?
Well, that, it's a decision for a future JOC. I will point out that we archive the actual minutes forever. There's a safe, you can find the minutes going all the way back to the very first JOC meeting, and that's true for every school district in the Commonwealth. These are just the meetings, they're like the video version of the minutes, so, but you can do whatever you want.
It'll
I'm
increase
okay with
more.
it that way.
Indefinitely sounds fair.
I also would like to throw it out there, because this has come up a couple times in previous meetings, and I've attempted to collect all of the Zoom meetings that we have, and I will admit, I believe I may have misplaced a few, so I'm going to put them on to the best of my abilities that I have records of.
For past meetings, but moving forward, we're gonna get them all.
Yes, yes,
I trust you.
thank you.
Any further, do we want to have public comment on this?
no, she announced it at the beginning, so.
Okay, we're good?
Yeah.
Any further JOC comment? Seeing none, move to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
Motion passes
3.5 years, I got it.
8-1.
Finally, everybody can watch our meetings from the past.
Now he can ride off into the sunset and not run
Now
for
that
re-election.
no one is going to care about any of those meetings.
Any further
I
JOC
expect
concerns?
a report on how many views each of those.
It does not matter. It should be available for the public to view anytime they want.
And you've
Okay, let's
solidified your
get back on
legacy.
topic here, people. It's 9:00. The witching hour has arrived. Any further JOC concerns?
We should extend our meeting for an hour.
I didn't hear that. Seeing no further concerns, we need a motion to
Motion
adjourn.
to adjourn.
Mr. Ott?
Second.
Mr. Reese?
I'll second.
Reese? Moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much for adjourning.
Thank you.